Hi, and welcome to the Punch Pod. My name is Panchil, and this is a podcast where I talk to creatives, artists, and entrepreneurs to learn more about why they do what they do and some other things. Today's guest is Shrivar Chataria. Shrivar is a podcaster, voiceover artist, and for the past 2 years, he has been working with Social Offline, handling their content and creative strategy. He's been doing his show That's What Shri Said for more than 2 years now, and I wanted to get his insight on how to make a good podcast. In today's episode, we talk about content creation, dealing with imposter syndrome, the creator economy, and many other things. So, without any further ado, let's just jump into the episode. Welcome, Shrivar, to episode 0. I'm calling this episode 0 because I'm still learning about podcasting from you.
Thank you so much, Panch. I'm always going to be grateful for you to introducing me to Anchor, and that's how my journey in podcasting started. And I'm so grateful to be here. And also, I've shared an episode with you back in 2018. We recorded.
Yeah, honestly, okay, little bit of backstory. The first ever podcast I recorded was with Shrivar back in McLeodganj in, I think, December of 2017. We did an episode when I was working with the Tibet Post. And yeah, that was the very first podcast episode I did. And it only makes sense that I have Shrivar to explain to me the wondrous world of podcasting since he's been doing it for so long.
Podcasts, of course, the way it started for me in 2018, 2017, as you mentioned, I just used to take random clips on Anchor, right? Like those clips just used to be assembled in the library. But then it was like, acha, iska karna kya? Because I remember the first, my podcast was called Shrivar Chataria for some, because it wasn't a podcast, right? Like people didn't really know what this entire medium was. And this was like really, really early days, back in 2018, where people didn't know what a podcast was. So I named it my name because that's what a podcast is, right? It's you. And I remember my cover art has become such an important part of, the entire packaging process and distribution, right? My cover art was for some reason, okay, for some odd reason, I actually never shared this. It was a black background with a jet just going by and nothing, no reason. Like I know it's very very random. It's just a black background and like a jet going upar, and kuch logic nahi tha, but that was basically the start of the journey. And I mean, of course, 2020 I feel has been the seminal year for podcasts. People, started like, कि, अरे ये तो podcast कर सकते हैं यार, ये तो इसमें ज़्यादा setup का ज़रूरत नहीं है. And I think Anchor, as I mentioned, you had kind of introduced me to it one fine evening in second year. That has really kind of been a catalyst of change, and people have started consuming audio a lot more. So podcasts have obviously seen a huge surge. There's again the low entry barrier that I mentioned. That's a huge factor, and all through that, I've been kind of trying to understand my voice first. Like I think all throughout this journey, it's very important to find what your tone is, or what you kind of what sticks really. So that's been the journey so far, and I'm so excited to learn from you as well, even in this episode, because I mean I'm obviously just a novice, man. Like I've just been I want to be more observant and want to listen more, because uh, you get to do all the speaking sometimes, but it's great to listen and learn, and that's what I hope to do.
That's so cool, man. And honestly, you're giving me too much bhav for introducing you to Anchor. It was a free app. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. Okay, so basically, I've been living inside my head for too long about starting a podcast, about what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. So I have like 3 or 4 questions that I just want to ask you and get your insight on. Number one, let's get out the boring technical stuff out of the way. Uh, Tech, what do you use, and what software do you use?
Okay, so it's pretty simple. Honestly, my setup is pretty simple. This random this pop filter that you see is a part of something. It's not just in isolation. This is the Blue Yeti mic that I use. Very very dependable. Not too expensive. Of course, one feedback that people do have about this kind of mic is that it kind of picks up too much of sound, and especially when you live in India, which I'm guessing most of our listeners and viewers do. It's you do actually काफी है यहाँ पर आवाज, हमें को पता नहीं चलता because we've gotten accustomed to it, but especially like a Bombay, there's a lot of stuff going on. So that's the feedback with this mic, that it kind of sometimes picks up too much of noise. But if you adjust with the settings, basically least gain, like you don't want too much of gain in your basically the least amount of pickup, and make sure that it's unidirectional. You're not picking up sound from all of that. So that's just like a tech tip that's there for the setup. That's the Blue Yeti mic that I have. of course, earphones. Not too fixated on any Sennheiser. You don't need big stuff happening. You just need a good pair of earphones which are there, and it can basically be helpful for whenever you're recording and all of that. So that's the in terms of the audio and the the mic and the headphones. Now in terms of the software, or the DAW as we call it, the digital audio workspace, that is actually GarageBand is something that I use. Like that is again very rudimentary. It's there on every Mac or even an iPhone. Really, it's there inbuilt. So that is something that I use to kind of record and edit all of my shows. For recording, of course, since that's also become such a big Peleja podcast, for example, our episode that we did it in person with the phone, right? Like that was a very different scenario. But since Zoom and since streaming has become such a big, the advent of streaming is here. So have used Zoom, of course, but there's also Zencaster, which I use, which gives good audio quality and good video quality. And they're very into creators as well, so they are kind of want to support creators, and they did reach out to me after looking at the show. So they're a great bunch as well. So I keep experimenting with them sometimes with Zoom. That's for the streaming bit. And of course, host. We've already spoken about it 4 times now, but Anchor is the place to host your platform, and then you distribute it. It distributes it everywhere on your normal platforms with your Spotify and your Apple Podcasts and all of that.
Right. Okay, cool. Honestly, before you said it, I had no clue what DAW or what you said, digital audio workspace, was it? I have zero clue what that is, but I'm glad I learned something new today. Anyway, okay, moving on. When you record with guests, right? If you have 2 or more people in your podcast, like I've noticed with, let's say, your Citizen Cinema Bombay episode, you had, I think, 3 people. There was Sahaj, you, and one more other person, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
how does recording and like maintaining audio quality there, how does that work?
So, of course, for maintaining audio quality, it's just before the episode actually starts, we tell our guests that, we're going to be recording. Like, I tell them about whatever equipment I'm using. And I'm like, it's of course okay if you don't have any of this equipment. But just to make sure that you're in an environment which is kind of padded or is like, slightly in a silent environment. You go there, and what we do kind of in terms of, and then it's pretty much sorted. Like all of them, of course, go sit in a specific way, which is not very into the scene. Like you don't sit in the middle of a playground at 5 p.m. where all the kids are. You go home and you record in your in the comfort of your bedroom when there are not too many people. And then, of course, the main part or the main challenge here comes in the editing part. So what we do is, especially with Zencaster, how it kind of helps is that it records 3 separate tracks for all your guests together, and then it automatically sends it to a Google Drive, right? So all of the tracks that you have, it automatically sends it there. And then Sahej, who is the producer for the Citizen Cinema series that you spoke about, he used to mix it, and like he used to do the mixing and mastering to make sure that the sounds, the level, the levels are fine, it's sounding nicely. There's a bit of warmth to it, because I feel like there is a bit of warmth that is required for for podcasts, because you want them to feel comfortable and feel intimate. It's like a cozy, it's like a hug. Not all podcasts are, but just that feeling of audio, I think it's important to have that sort of an intimacy. So all of those things kind of do come into the picture with the mixing and mastering process. So that's important. Like that does take some time to master. Yes, look at the pun, mixing and mastering. But that's an important part of ensuring that the audio is fine, and that you can look at tutorials on YouTube and all as well, how to make sure that there is that much of semblance between all the tracks, because sometimes it happens कि जिसके पास mic है, and not everybody has a mic, right? जिसके पास mic है उसका एकदम मस्त crystal clear, and कोई बैठा है वहाँ पर उसका it's like that. And of course you have to maintain distance from your mic, because you don't want these pop, the reason why this pop filter is there, because you don't want all those sounds, like the pop sound as we call it, the purrs and the buzz. So that's also something that we have to make sure that's done, and usually it's quite seamless. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So you mentioned Zencaster. I wanted to ask you, like, is it, number one, free, and does it record stuff locally in your computer and then send it across, or is it all happening on the cloud?
It's all happening on the cloud. It all happens on the cloud. It is free. So I'll tell you how it kind of happened. It's quite interesting how the Zencaster journey actually happened. So Zencaster, for the longest time, we were not till like Feb of 2021, right? Like this, itna recent. they were essentially they were made for podcasting. Like they were a platform which was made for podcasting, but it was only audio. Then in like Feb, they launched their video beta version. Like you could test out their video features, and the difference here was that they had lossless video files. So Zoom, of course, as we're speaking on Zoom right now and OBS, but Zoom will compress both our video and our audio to a great extent. Zencaster, what it does is it takes three, and yeah, actually, there's another thing that's not so good about Zencaster though is that you don't have this feature of recording two screens. So even the video is kind of sent separately. तो वीडियो तीनों वीडियो फाइल अगर तीन गेस्ट है तीनों के वीडियो फाइल सेपरेटली जाएंगे तीनों के ऑडियो फाइल सेपरेटली जाएंगे so that is there but we had to sign up for the beta version and they were like okay fine like you can try it out and then when we tried out they actually saw the podcast or they heard the podcast essentially and then they contacted us that hey we have a creators program we want to feature in a newsletter and all that we were like sure so that's also a conversation that's happening in the behind the scenes but it's good like other than the video feature which is kind of bugging that आपको तीन अलग-अलग video मिलेंगे and not like the split screen sort of a situation that we have I think it's a quite premium podcast only application which is not restricted to I mean it's not for like video calls or like meetings and all nobody does a meeting on Zencaster it's mostly for podcasts.
Okay, sweet. I will check it out. Okay, so you also mentioned Sahaj was you mentioned a producer for your Cities and Cinemas uh, series. So how does that work? Like what does a producer do?
I mean that's a great question because even I used to figure कि producer करेगा क्या. So producer for this series, I'll tell you, this series just to give some context to if people really haven't heard the series, it was essentially I took 7 cities and explored, with 7 episodes, I basically explored the cinema that was captured in them. So for this series, what I wanted was to have like a wider gamut of guests who will be there on the show. So I didn't want to kind of restrict it to my immediate circle. I wanted to expand that circle because this was something that it would be very interesting if you could have different insights. And also to make sure that the booking of the guest. So whenever you're kind of calling a guest, it's in the podcasting world professionally they call it booking a guest. So just to make sure that all these bookings are in place and they're proper. To make sure that there's a professional approach with which we approach. Not ki aise hi kar rahe hain, but we have a producer on board who will make sure that you get the Zoom ka link in time to make sure that if there's any feedback they can talk to you. So they basically the producer helps in doing all the technical stuff and he was producing the show and of course he's great and he's doing some amazing stuff himself as well. But the producer essentially ensures that the show is running like he's essentially like the showrunner but I am like the creative force behind it. So it's essentially my show but he also kind of was a guest on most of these episodes where he did have quite some interesting opinions. He helped in mixing and mastering. So I'm not saying the producer, of course, always has to do all of this, but it really helps just to kind of steer the show in the right way. So you have to find synergy between you and the producer because you're essentially working towards the same vision. So they take care of the various aspects of the production in terms of कि अच्छा ठीक है technically let's see कि अच्छा सब ठीक है कि नहीं और researching also for the episode. For example, fact checking. I remember I had made some faux pas about कि अच्छा ये film तो 2014 में release हुई थी. But he quickly researched and he's like, no, it's actually 2013. Stuff like that. Like it's minor stuff which you probably won't realize when you're listening to an episode. But just to make sure that all of that is in place. And just to honestly, and even for like podcasters who are starting out like me, it's a big motivator, man. Like, if you know that there's a producer with you, even though, both of you are in a small capacity, it just encourages you that much more to create stuff. Right. And I can definitely say that if Sahaj wasn't there, completing Cities and Cinema, which was just a thought in my head in December, and wrapping it up with 7 episodes with 7 different people of 7 different cities would have been a task, and I probably wouldn't have done it. But today, like I'm extremely happy with what the product was, and of course, people have their own preferences as to what they liked, which episode they liked. I for one completely loved the Jamshedpur episode. That was by far my favorite. But like that's the thing, right? Like people had their own preferences, their own shares of highs or lows with the episodes, and they found themselves. So a producer kind of helps in assessing that as well. So what is the feedback been? What is the assessment been? It's really helpful. Like of course, it's for example, the producer shouldn't be not paid. Like if it's I was not earning anything from the show. I of course had a sponsor, but that was an affiliation. But even starting these small associations with a friend, like okay, you can do a barter deal ki, acha, you can produce my show, I can edit your stuff in the future. So that kind of helps you again steer towards the same direction and hopefully achieve some growth.
That's super interesting, man. I like what you said about having a producer who handles so much of the stuff because honestly, it is a big headache doing everything yourself. So if you have someone who's kind of taking care of some other stuff, like maybe reaching out to people, managing all the technical stuff, seeing if everything is recording, that takes a big weight off your shoulder and you can kind of focus on the guests and bring about a more meaningful conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. That was essentially the aim. Yeah, you summed it up what I said in like a 12-minute speech. Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. Now, I want to come back to cities and cinema in just a bit, but before we go there, I wanted to ask you two more questions about structuring the show. Like, how do you structure the show? Because podcasting, in essence, basically from whatever the popular consensus is that people just think what podcasting is two, three people gather and they ramble and that's it, cut, edit. So that's what the popular notion is. So what goes into the structuring of these shows? Let's take cities and cinema as an example. What went into the structuring of the show?
Right. So, I mean, again, that's a great question, and I'm glad that you mentioned cities and cinema because if you look at my, the episodes till now, it's been a very, I mean, because I'm experimenting, right? I'm still like a level one sort of a guy, still a noob here. So I've also experimented, like I've dipped my feet into a lot of structures. But coming to cities and cinema, I think what the format really was that we wanted to before we started. So we had, I mean, just like a BTS sort of a tip that was there was that we created a sheet, right? Like Sahej and I created a sheet. We listed down all the cities that we want to, the guests, and we also listed down the films. Now, what that kind of helped us was that although, chalo, we were not really choosing the films, but we had an idea कि अच्छा इसमें कितना meat है. For example, in Jamshedpur, what we did was Jamshedpur was only one film. It was an Udan special, right? So the whole conversation was centered around Udan, right? Like the conversation that we had was centered around that one film and some nice little associations with that film and all of that. But in certain places, for example, with New York, where we had the festival director of the New York Film Festival, Asim Chabra, was there. I mean, great person, very very accomplished. He's such a great author and journalist. So with him, we of course wanted a more holistic approach in terms of there are so many films that have been made in New York. It's been like almost to a level of saturation now कि यार अच्छा ये भी न्यूयॉर्क में अब दुनिया अवेंजर्स मतलब यहीं पर सबको सेव करते हैं वैसा टाइप का. So that we of course wanted a bit of variety because इतने सारे वहाँ पर अगर है, so we wanted to structure it कि अच्छा we'll be discussing each एक film, like एक era का film और एक director के साथ film, because there's such a huge or there's such a breadth of cinema that has been covered. So that was there, and of course the conversation really was, or the the pre-recording or the pre-interview that we have was that you don't need to worry about segues. We can easily segue into what we want, but we just have to make sure that the city element is also not excluded, right? Because of course we can speak about cinema all we like, but that background or the backdrop of a city has to be very has to be in focus. So that's why I think the Jamshedpur episode really works in that way because people have seen Udan, but they don't know much about Jamshedpur. So that intrigue is kind of created. Ki, okay, I know one thing out of the two. So let me see what the thing is, and you get to know so many things about Jamshedpur as a city. So that was there, and we kind of experimented with alag format and all of that. But we saw mostly this only, like it was two ways. Either we spoke about one film, or we structured it in a way ki, acha, you can talk about this director, we speak about that film, speak about the city, move on to the next one. So I kind of used to bring up, I used to segue into it, and then we used to kind of go into the next films in the city.
Right, that's cool. Okay, you mentioned that your favorite episode was Jamshedpur. I haven't heard that one yet, but I've heard almost every other one. I will listen to the Jamshedpur episode. I assure you. But my favorite episode, especially, was Mumbai. Yeah, because you guys talk a lot about what people don't know about Mumbai. Like, Mumbai has been romanticized. There are all these conventional tropes that people just adhere to, which honestly does a disservice to the city. Then you guys also spoke about one of my favorite films, Munna Bhai के बारे में बात की. Like भांडुप बोरीवली में कौन बनाता है film? That really stood out to me. Let me just figure out what I'm going for next. Okay, segments in podcasts. I remember in earlier episodes where you had Hari on the show, where you had Sweta on the show, you did segments like this and this or that, and then you had a Q and A at the end. So, do you have any suggestions for me? Like, what kind of a segment thing should I even go for a segmented approach, or should I just let it be like free flowing conversation?
Man, I think segments. I'll tell you from whatever. I experimented with segments with the Shweta episode and the Shweta actually and the Hari episode as well. Um, so segments, what really worked. Okay, honestly, I'll tell you is the AMA, right? Like what it does is it essentially opens up the podcast, which is like this walled garden. It opens you up to a really interactive sort of a place. Kia. So these guests are coming on board now. You guys who are my Instagram audience, you can ask them a question, you'll be included. So there's this sense of inclusivity, or there's this sense of power which the audience really holds. Ki, my question is being answered no matter how stupid it is. Like if you heard some of Hari's questions, they were completely bizarre and banal. It was quite fuck all that way, but that was also fun because then it kind of spices things up, and people be like, "Acha, mera question bhi answer ho raha hai," and just to kind of give them credit. So I think what you can definitely try is that, okay, if there's a guest who's coming on board, 5 questions, let's say you want to do an AMA with, and one of my favorite podcasts also, and of course this is after you reach a certain level in terms of your user base or your fan base. Is what's with stuff you should know does that they have fan mail, like they read out they have in the last few minutes of the thing. Of course there's a whole lot of retention and all of that ke liye bhi karte ki acha last tak mein rakhunga taki wo kare. That is also something that people kind of do keep in mind, of course, but that's something that they do, like acha there's a fan mail which comes in ki hey आपका ये episode आपका जो 541st episode था उसमें मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आपने KFC के बारे में बात किया. So stuff like that also happens. So that's there for of course very experienced podcasters, but I feel like a AMA is a great way to interact with your IG audience, and B making sure that there is a lot of retention involved in the episode, and it's just more fun, right? Like even for the guest, like acha मैंने आपके लिए कुछ secret questions prepare किए हैं अब आप बोलो, because they don't know, right? Like they don't know what's coming up. So it's fun. Like AMA is something that I really found a lot of fun doing, and also it helped the numbers as well.
That's cool. I think that's all I had to ask you about podcasting. But I also wanted to get your insights on a few interesting things that have been happening in the whole, audio world or podcasting world. Because, as you said earlier, there has been a huge boom in podcasting. But my main question is like, do you think people even listen to podcasts? Like, do you listen to podcasts? Because honestly, I don't that much. Like I listen to maybe like 2 or 3 podcasts once in a while as a man kiya to, or when I'm doing some like passive chore. But like that's not something I actively listen to. Do you think that's something that India ka audience has to cultivate as a habit to listen to podcasts, or what do you think?
They definitely have to cultivate as an audience. So just answering your first question about my own listenership, or like if I consume stuff, dude, it's been I have started listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of them, like just for the again, when I go and I use this app called Stitcher. It's I actually funnily enough on my old phone, which like I literally threw yesterday. I did not have Spotify. Like I did not have even an Anchor. एक तो चलो ठीक है, memory बहुत खराब था वो phone का, तब वो भी reason था. But I used to actually use this app called Stitcher, right? And Stitcher is of course it's there. It's not a very India friendly, मतलब इतना नहीं है titles, but it was something very isolated from whatever the other space was, like whatever I've been hearing on Spotify and all of that. They had some really cool titles. So I've been consuming a lot of stuff. Like I download stuff offline. For example, Land of the Giants was a podcast by Vox that I was recently listening to. So YouTube, and I was again, this is from Land of the Giants where I actually learned of this term. So YouTube is a lean-in piece of content, right? Like you lean in when you're watching a YouTube video, like you're into it. Podcasts, on the other hand, and I'm of course when I'm referring to podcasts, I'm referring to the not to be a purist, but just to the audio experience. So podcasts are a lean back conversation, right? Like you can lean back and you don't have to be invested thoroughly into this. And I think that really helps in my consumption, because I want to lean back and also, but at the same time enjoy some stuff. Like I sometimes I just listen to podcast while looking at the ceiling, and of course it's very awkward for the people in the room. What are you doing? You're looking at the fan and you just have your earphones plugged in. I'm like, no, it's an episode that's going on in my head. Going on in my head, matlab, आवाज आ रहा है, not actual going on in my head, but like आवाज आ रहा है earphone से. So that is, I mean, my consumption patterns have definitely changed. In terms of India, I mean, yeah, sure, that's been the whole conversation that we're a very visual culture, and we really, of course, we like our sounds as well. It's not like radio has not existed. But then, what you said about do people actually listen to podcasts? I don't think it's, even if they, let's say, press play, people drop off, right? Like people are like, Ajay, fuck this, they're like, kya hai? Matlab, it's not, it's quite boring. And that's why, like, even with my podcast, I understand, like, it's not every episode is the most interesting. And I mean, I of course want to shorten the length of each of these episodes as well. And that's why, like, even with my podcast, I've kind of come up with sort of a tagline called a satisfying podcast. Because what you find is that, even if, let's say, you kind of discover this podcast, but it's boring, like, it's not satisfying, it's not filling your urge. You're like, okay, fine, fuck it, ठीक है, 2-3 सेकंड वो किया, मतलब 1-2 मिनट सुना, फिर मैं drop off कर गया. So of course it's a challenge for me to, like, I'm also trying to understand what the users, right? And that's a continual process. Like, you wouldn't know immediately, and you probably wouldn't know even after the 50 episodes. That's something that I'm continuously trying, but it's interesting. It's really interesting to kind of see what the Indian consumer likes and what the various kind of Indian consumers really want to, go ahead with. So that's the scene with my podcast, and that's something that I've kind of been trying to experiment with, and hopefully have kind of thought the formula ऐसे होता नहीं है, but just to kind of make sure that it's interesting, man. Like setting the context, I think really helps in the episode. Otherwise, people will drop off. People don't know what you're talking about, and they have thousands of things to do in their day. And I think it's really good, even in terms of my podcast consumption. It's also really good for the weekends, man. Like, sometimes when I just don't want to look at a screen, because see, now when I'm like, when I'm working, and many people who are kind of working from home, you're in front of a screen literally all day. You're doing these Zoom calls, you're doing all of this. So that way, I think it really helps you to kind of tune in, but at the same out you can tune out. Like, that I think that level of balance is something that podcasts have kind of managed to crack. And I'm a fan. Like, there are some shows which I like as a concept, but the execution is not good. But there are some shows, and I can name so many of them, who's just like a great package. Like the shows are, for example, Smartless, which is this podcast available everywhere, by Will Arnett, who's the voice of BoJack Horseman. So imagine listening to BoJack Horseman speak for like an hour with a guest, and that is one great podcast that's there. There is Land of the Giants that I spoke about. There is Bowery Boys, which is about New York, which is actually also where some of the inspiration for Citizen Cinema came in. There's Stuff You Should Know. There's Freakonomics. I can go on and on. Like, I'm actually, I wouldn't say last year I was such a big fan of podcasts. Like, last year I didn't have such a huge library. But if I show you the stuff that I'm doing and listening to in terms of Indian and foreign content, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. And I'm really happy to kind of discover all of this and just go deeper into this world of audio content.
Right, that's so cool. Because my belief has always been that the more good stuff you consume, the more good stuff you can make. Like, it's always like a lot of people say you shouldn't consume before you create, but I don't think that's correct, because personally it doesn't make sense to me, because whatever you consume more often than not gives you enough inspiration or the push to make even more stuff. You mentioned earlier that you were doing some very cool stuff with social radio, where you're going to be playing in local artists' cartoons in local socials all across India, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Cool. So, can you tell me a little about that? And can you also, like, I just out of my curiosity, what do you think about the concept of radio? Is radio dead?
Right. So for social radio, like, of course, this is something that has been launched. Like, I've said has had a soft launch, but is going to be properly launched, I think. अब वही बात है, प्रॉपरली लॉन्च में क्या ही बोलूँ. अब ये भाई साहब वायरस जितना म्यूटेट करेंगे उतना ही हमारा लॉन्चेस और सब कुछ और just keep there's a spanner in the works, of course. But social radio is essentially what we've done is that with social, there are these bunch of homegrown artists that are completely killing the scene. Like, they're great artists and great people, really. So what we've done is that we've had associations with them. They are actually curating a playlist for social. And their track, like, what you hear kabhi kabhi background mein, and I find this as a big gripe with a lot of places to eat, especially that ambience is good, food is also good, everything is fine, like safety and all भी है आजकल. But यार गाने में वही अरिजीत सिंह के 2016 के गाने चला रहे. It's not hitting the vibe. So that that really, that I really hate that. And what I appreciate about social, like even as a consumer, was that the music was on point, like, or they gave a fuck about music, right? And that's a concerted effort. Like they did kind of care about the music that was played. Of course, sometimes it was the pop stuff and everything, but it was still thought through. So what social radio really is that it's a deeper level of insight that's gone into that. People want to listen to their homegrown artists, or at least we want to support these homegrown artists. So we'll be playing them throughout the day. They've curated playlists for us, and there are like a bunch of great acts associated with this. And here, I mean, we'll be hoping that they'll get some exposure that they deserve, because here, if you think of rap, you think of 2-3 names. If you think of Indian, pop, there's 2-3 names, or rock, there are 2-3 names, techno and all of that. But introducing people to more, because social has always been about the community. Social has always been about discovering stuff with your friends, being with your friends. So I think social radio is really a step towards that, and utilizing the speakers that are there, not just to play Arijit Singh songs, but to make sure that there's enough representation from people across communities, and to make sure that you are खुद का भी दिमाग खुलता है यार कि अच्छा ये इंडिया में बन रहा है, ये इसने बनाया है, ये बॉम्बे के लड़के ने बनाया है, ये दिल्ली की लड़की ने बनाया है. So it really feels, again, representation and inclusivity. I understand these terms are thrown around quite a lot, but it is really important for the brand, I feel. And super excited to be working on it, and hopefully checking out these playlists very soon. I mean, I can't do it physically because I'm not there in a city where a social is. Unfortunately, I really feel it should have one, but
Bring social to Calcutta.
yeah, no, definitely. And people have been have been asking कि अरे Calcutta में तो कैसे, Calcutta में तो होना ही चाहिए. But there are like a lot of things which are taken into consideration, I guess, before launching, and that's what the big boys or the big women kind of decide. So we can of course be hopeful that that's all we can do. So that's for social radio. Now radio in terms of like just radio, like
Yeah, normal, like Red FM types.
Red FM types. I think, man, it's the issue that comes in with radio, and like what really differentiates radio and podcasts is the programming bit, right? Like you have to kind of, radio has been you have to tune into something and it's live. It's always kind of live, and there's always somebody speaking and all of it. But once you kind of discover that podcasts have this ability where you can get your content, you can kind of store it, or you can get it in one place, or you can binge. Then people are like, "यार मैं radio को इतना पत्ता क्यों दूंगा?" Like it's not very important for me anymore. Of course, there's this whole conversation about also, artists and all kind of streaming their songs on radio, because the radio model itself, people are saying it's kind of broken now. They only rely on ads. You don't subscribe to a radio channel, right? Like it's basically you're paid ads. And अगर मैं गाड़ी में भी आज जाता हूँ, साला 7 channels होते हैं, उसमें से 5 में तो ad चल रहा होता है.
That's my main gripe with radio. Whatever radio you put on, Red FM ho ya Radio Mirchi ho, the main thing is like they'll have one song in maybe half an hour, and the rest of it will be ads. Beach mein RJ will come, say something in that nice voice. They'll do some, like, honestly, I don't know how you feel about these radio pranks where they call people and, oh, you're under arrest or some bullshit, and the person is like, I think that's kind of like what prank videos were to YouTube in like 2016, 2015. And now people with radio, they discovered this like prank call thing in like the 90s, and they're still sticking with it like 30 years later.
Still sticking to it. I mean, absolutely, man. I think, and of course, that's the thing with India, that you can't speak. I mean, you can speak for yourself, but there's so much of an audience that's there. There's such a wide audience that there's still consumers for that. But especially for our generation, I think radio is pretty much, it's kind of game over for that. And Punch, another important thing that we don't consider when radio comes into the foray is how expensive it is to kind of maintain a radio station. Like just to have those airing rights, it costs crores, man. Like the infrastructure and all that's required. And look at the podcast. Like look at the podcast. It's just I just have this little thing. Like this is democratized. This thing. I have control of programming on editorial. Not many gatekeepers involved, right? Like I can start, and that's the power. Of course, that just means कि इतने सारे player आ गए, इतना सारा सब कुछ हो गया scene में. But इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि सभी बकवास actual अच्छे भी हैं अगर आप सुनो तो रेडियो in my opinion मैं तो नहीं सुनता हूँ भाई. मैं तो 93.5 में मुझे कोई ज्वेलरी शॉप, बानेर में कोई ज्वेलरी शॉप है, उसके बारे में मुझे जानने का कोई महत्व नहीं है.
Exactly, right. And I like what you said about how there are so many players now, and podcasting or like any sort of content abhi has become completely democratized. everyone can make whatever they want to make, and they may just find an audience for it. Now, on the basis of that, I want to, like, this was a very good segue. I want to ask you, the next question I had was, what is your view of content? Because let me just give you a little backstory. Like, when I was like kind of researching about, like, okay, should I even do a podcast? What should I do? What should my show be? I came across this talk by Amit Verma, who has this podcast called The Seen and the Unseen, where he does like 3 4 hour episodes, and I'm like, who listens to these? I don't even have enough patience to listen to like 1 hour, and this guy's making 3 4 hour with like such cool people. He's got like Prem Panikar and Varun Dugirala and like economists and historians and all these people. In the talk, he said that don't try to make content that just lives in the time that it's in. Try to make content that travels across time and space. So that really helped contextualize what I'm doing for me, because the kind of stuff that I'm making, like, obviously this you know how to make a podcast 101 is extremely topical, because who knows, like 10 years down the line, technology might change completely, where you might just talk and that might just get transcribed into a podcast or whatever. But the rest of the episodes that I'm planning to do are going to be interviews, and they're going to be things related to creativity and life and a bunch of other stuff. But obviously that will transcend time, I hope. It will be a nice archive. But coming to the question now, with so much content being pumped out every single day, do you think the value of that content decreases in the bigger picture? Like, if there's so much stuff happening, is there even value? Like, everyone says, like, if you're special, you're special, you're special. If everyone's special, no one's special. So, like, where is the value?
यार बहुत बहुत सही बात है मतलब ये it's a completely astute observation that's there. It's like the whole the money inflation thing that we have, the whole paradox that we have कि अरे भाई अगर पैसे कम पड़ रहे हैं इकोनॉमी में तो पंप कर लो ना, नोट्स तो मतलब मशीन तो बना ही सकते हैं, बट प्रॉब्लम वही कि वैल्यू कम हो जाती है. सो आई थिंक it's important, like imposter syndrome, especially with, I think, with our generation, or with our let's say our strata. It's something that's so common, like it's not even like it's almost become like a part of life, because you get overwhelmed, right? And especially I think the way Instagram, like I just want to shout out to Instagram. They have essentially been such a big support for so many creators, but they also, the way they're designed, they are also such big perpetrators of imposter syndrome. I think this, the UI itself, it's based on like dopamine, 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 dopamine. Yeah. You just look at the app,
Yeah.
like you look at the app, and it's not social media anymore. It's a dopamine factory. Like social media, it's not about connections. Don't let it spin you in that direction. It's about कि अच्छा, I want to grow my business, I want to grow my, so वो सब है. But I think the value itself, coming to your question, really, I think value नहीं है, मतलब आपका, at the end of the day, it's just another something. It's just something in the air that's just there. It's your piece of content. But what you can find solace in, or what you can find peace in, or what you can find some satisfaction in, is that the stuff that you're putting out, even if not too many people are listening to it, even if few people are listening to it, or even if you're listening to it, it can be something that again, as you mentioned, like an archive. Like, it's just a story. For example, for me, when I was putting out like the conversation that I had with you about this thing about the Tibet post in your internship, I probably wouldn't have remembered the conversation, if I would have, like not recorded this. Like, it would have been, of course, it would have been somewhere in the back of my mind, but now it has so much of value for me. So that, I think, value now has become a very selfish thing. Like now I make Citizen Cinema. Okay, fine, it's not okay, 10 lakh people don't listen to it, but I know that the few people who listen to it, I find value in that, because they've been kept they've kept on coming for that, and they're just sharing it with their friends. So the difference between podcasting and, I think, and that was actually one of the notes that I also wrote, is that in podcasting, what you can't chase virality in podcasting. Like, you can't, there's a very high chance that your podcast won't be viral, because that's not what a podcast does, right? Like, you don't listen ki acha bhai ye episode sun, वो नहीं होता, वीडियो के लिए होता है कभी कभी. Podcast is not really that. Podcast, what you have to imbibe is consistency, right? And of course you can say that for video as well, but for podcasts, it's just that association. I think the relationship is that much deeper and you can find value in that. In the grand scheme of things, sure, it has no value. Like my podcast, it doesn't matter, but I find solace in the fact that somebody the other day from Delhi discovered my podcast and said that, oh, it's really nice, and that kind of helps me keep on going. So that's there. Like you have to be selfish with value, as contradictory or as oxymoronic as that may sound, but yeah, you have to be selfish with your value and you have to find value.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like honestly, like that's what I've been thinking about itna like so much ki should I even make a podcast? Who will it bring joy to? But now, like what you said right now, exactly, it makes sense. Because right now I'm talking to you, I'm recording this podcast, I've set up my light, I've set up my camera, I've done everything, and it's brought me so much joy. Like I am so happy talking to you about content and about all of this. And I think the value proposition changes completely because you're doing it for yourself. And if other people join you on your journey, very good. But then doesn't that sound very vain though? Or do you think like vanity has to be there in every creator of any kind?
I think, yeah, like a certain sense of vanity has to be there, man, because as creators, and again the term creator and especially the term content creator has been thrown around so much because literally यार आज मैं अगर मैं सोचना मैं अगर एक reel भी बनाऊँ, I can call myself, it's become that easy. Like that vanity comes in because it's become because of the ease, right? Like because of I can literally stop this recording right now, record a reel, post it, and probably it might get, it might really get thousands of views or something like that in an instant. Yeah. So that I think you have to be also you have to be steadfast with your thing, because there will be in the journey ki, "Agar fuck, what's the use of it? Like barely any people are listening to it. What is really this thing? What is the point? Like and as the popular saying goes, in the long run we're all dead." Like of course that is, but that doesn't mean that while you live you can't have a bit of fun or you can't have a few episodes. So I think it's important for creators to kind of keep that in mind. Sure, there might not be other people who will be listening to this, but you can find peace in knowing that you've made this journey so far. And you know when I release the first episode, I know that I've done 25 more episodes after that. Like like once you start, like once you look at the logarithm, or once you look at like the arithmetic of it, or like the progression essentially, is that right, you are so much like even though you're small, but you're so much bigger than a person who hasn't started. Like itself, like it just gives you peace. Not ki acha competition ke liye ki acha dekho main upar ya main niche, but just to kind of keep going forward. And then especially speaking about this thing about podcasting, because if you think about it, YouTube पे nobody really counts. अब MKB HD है, ठीक है, उसके वीडियोस आते हैं. You don't really know कि which video का number कौन सा number है ये उसका, मतलब you don't know that. Like it's not, you don't know कि अच्छा हाँ उसका जो S21 का review था, that was episode number 1021. वो नहीं है. बट पॉडकास्टिंग में क्या है ना, एक पर्सनल एक जर्नी हो जाता है, बिकॉज और कुछ ज्यादा है नहीं, मतलब विजुअल जब रहता नहीं है. So it just becomes that episodic thing, really it becomes very special. So something as small as like completing 25 episodes is a big deal for the podcast. So completing 10 episodes, great milestone. So I think getting these milestones, even though it might seem vain, is important for you, is important for your journey, and you can market it. Some people, of course, we love our whole numbers. That's why we love our 5s and our 10s and all. But for example, some people can feel like, fuck, मैंने 3 episode कर लिया यार, for the next and then some, as I say. Like that's I think a very 3 words that really kind of describe podcasting, or like just general creating stuff, is that and then some. Like you created something and then you go on with it, and don't get too attached with the stuff that you've made, because sure, there is a lot of good stuff on the internet, but you made some and then some.
That's you have successfully changed my mind about this because I was like, yeah, what's the point? Like why am I doing this? How vain am I? Like is being vain a bad thing? But come on, I'm doing it for myself. If people join in, well and good. If they don't, it's okay. I love doing this. It's all about like enjoying the process, as so many people say. Enjoy the process and you'll be happy.
And another thing, Panchil, is that in terms of podcasts, what people, and what people really, how people get derailed is, and this is one of the biggest unseen or unheard things that people don't really want to speak about when they leave their podcast or abandon it. Like people don't delete it, people don't have that, but they abandon it. Matlab it's left astray. Is that when you compare your video analytics to your podcast analytics, man, we have not matured that much as a it's a completely different medium. People say that, acha, podcast kya hai? Ultimately it's like a video, but without the video. Without the video, it's only audio. In my head, that sounds as preposterous as saying कि यार ये photo अच्छा है, but अगर इसमें कुछ sound आ जाता तो मजा आ जाता. Like when you look at a photograph of New York City, you're like कि यार photograph is amazing, but I wish वो taxi की आवाज भी आ जाता. You can't say that because it's a different medium, right? Like, so your expectations when you look at a photograph, you're not expecting, when you're looking at a still photograph, you're not expecting the sounds to be there because that's a completely different medium. It's called video. So similarly, when you're looking at where you're listening to a podcast, the medium is different. So essentially, your analytics or the way you view at the numbers has to be very different from video because it's a different medium. So, agar main 1,000, let's say, views, arbitrary number, 1,000 views on this thing, video might be great. But in comparison, 100 listens on your podcast is amazing. Like that is great. That is just, again, so that's a different, that's a very important metric to keep in mind, that video se mat compare karo yaar. Ab dekho, another essential thing that I really want to kind of speak about, because people do miss out on, is that when you look at views, okay, and I'm talking especially about Instagram views, and Instagram view is counted when you look at 3 seconds or more, right? Like when you hit 3 seconds of the video, it's counted as a view. On podcasts, a listen or a stream is counted once you have 60 seconds of that. Like when you're listening to 60 seconds of the episode. So just look at the math. 3 versus 60. Podcast ka stream is counted when it's 20 times more of the video. So how can you compare it? Like, how can you compare videos and podcasts? It's just, you're doing injustice to yourself by beating yourself down ki fuck yaar, ye episode mein bas 4 जनों ने सुना. Like fuck, 4 जनों ने सुना dude, लेकिन उन्होंने 4 मतलब 1 मिनट तक तो सुना ही, उसके beyond भी सुना होगा, and कितना अच्छा लगा होगा उन लोग को. So that I think is a very big factor, yeah, which people don't really take into account कि नहीं, ये वीडियो नहीं है, आपको नहीं मिलेंगे. रील्स की मैं बात करता हूँ, ठीक है. रील्स में मैंने रैंडम कोई वीडियो डाला था. इंस्टाग्राम का जो एल्गोरिथम है इतना उसको सपोर्ट कर रहा है. रैंडम फकिंग वीडियो didn't make any sense. It was just like a promotional thing. That it got 2000 plays. What the fuck? That's crazy. It was just like a random thing, and within 2 hours it got 2,000 plays. So that just shows that, yeah, like so it's different, man. Like you can't really beat yourself down. अगर मैं बोलता कि fuck यार, अब तो podcast करना ही नहीं चाहिए, अब तो reels ही करूँ. But that's not the thing, because ठीक है, reels are fun. Of course, I'm not saying they're not fun. But that's, I mean, my podcast, the medium that I love is podcast. So respect the medium also before you beat yourself down.
Yeah, so I think the kind of form that your content takes is dictated a lot by the place where it's going to stay. So like YouTube videos, beginning has to be very quick, and then you get into this thing. Podcasts, like the attention ka retention jo hota hai, like how much people retain and how much people watch changes a lot. So like YouTube, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, Mr. Beast said in one of his videos, the first 15-20 seconds have to be bang on, otherwise people click off. Whereas in podcast, like you said, 60 seconds, which I didn't know, 60 seconds is counted as a view, as a listen. And Instagram Reels pe one view is counted as 3 seconds. 3 seconds is barely anything. I can just swipe up and be like, okay, 3 seconds dekh liya, bore ho gaya, done. But that is still counted as a view.
And of course, another thing about retention, like you really mentioned, audience attention retention, as we say. A lot of times what I feel is that people get great guests, but not every time is a important guest interesting. What to actually retain the audience, what you're looking out for are interesting people and not important people. Okay, I'll just give you an example in my case. All right, so the Asim Chawda episode that I did, in comparison, the retention was not as good. And Asim Chawda, he's a big guy and all of that, and he's a great person. But the retention that I saw on that episode was not as good as what I saw on Hari's episode, which was off the charts. Like it was leaning towards the third or fourth quarter. Like it was, I think at a very, very high percentage. A lot of people retain throughout the episode. If you look at importance, of course, accomplishment, Asim Chawda has done a lot of that stuff and all of that. But in terms of interest, Hari was such an interesting person to listen to, right? Like that conversation was amazingly interesting. So people should also kind of focus on interest and not importance. कि अच्छा ये person को मैं ले रहा हूँ, ये बहुत interesting है,
ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होगा, बट बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है इसमें, मतलब बात करने का तरीका अच्छा है. अगर मैं मतलब वर्ल्ड बैंक का यहाँ पर मैं वर्ल्ड बैंक के मैं सीईओ को भी बैठा दूं, बट इफ दे आर बोरिंग एंड इफ दे ट्रेलिंग ऑफ, यू वांट योर ऑडियंस विल बी ठीक है यार, यू आप हो भाई महान, आप हार्वर्ड से ग्रेजुएट किए हो, बट मुझे बख्श दो, मुझे नहीं सुनना है. Whereas if you can just have a person who's like, I don't know, like a CA in a firm in Bangalore, he can be the most interesting person because he likes doing CA, and he likes doing watching a movie while he's doing accounts, something like that, like something interesting. So that's also something that I've also kind of discovered in this journey throughout. Yeah.
That's interesting. Now, I wanted to also ask you, so since you work with social, I kind of wanted to get your insight about how brands view creators. Like I'm seeing Netflix and Prime get all these famous reel creators to make reels for them, but they somehow like they feel very as a bikau types, like the little sellouts. Because the thing with Amazon and Netflix is they shoot their reels on like high definition cameras. So that again comes back to like if your form is like the content is going on Instagram, you don't necessarily have to shoot it with like a Red or an Arri or like a Sony camera. iPhone, like there were these reels I saw. अभी प्राइम का वो कौन सा मूवी आ रहा है with the monkey, Hello Charlie. So Hello Charlie has like they put up a bunch of reels with a few like digital creators, reel creators, and they looked so odd because it was obvious. ठीक है, green screen के against क्या है, obviously fine, but the charm of the green screen on Instagram comes when it's badly done. When you have that green filter little thoda पीछे से there's a little bit of feathering happening, then it's a little out there. Obviously it was shot with like a Red or like a very super fancy camera with nice depth of field, good clarity, good color correction. It just felt off. It just felt so off. I'm not saying that Prime is bad with content. They are fantastic. The kind of stuff they put on their posts, I think they're one of the best, creators who capitalize on the big bank of big bank of films that they have, and then they make that into posts. But this really felt off.
No, that's a great point, man, Punch. Because what, how I see, how brands see it, like, listen, like, it's a very marketing-driven thing where, like, when they're tapping creators, they don't really care much about the medium ki acha reels and all that. They're like कि अच्छा ये अपने उतना डायरेक्टली अगर बात नहीं कर पा रहे मिलेनियल्स को या फिर टारगेट ऑडियंस को, ये क्रिएटर को बोलो, क्रिएटर को पैसा देंगे. डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन really helps in this thing, like, with creators, what happens is that they already have this audience that they are kind of speaking to. So it's almost like when you're making reels or when you're making content with them, it's like a headache कि भाई तू headache ले, मैं तेरे को पैसा दूंगा, मैं तेरे को पैसा दूंगी, but तू बना, मतलब तू अपने आप बना. I mean I'll make it sure that थोड़ा Netflix का छाप लगे and all, but I really don't like too much of influencer marketing. Like, of course it's important and everything, but especially in some cases where it's outright कि अच्छा ये तो एकदम ही बिकाऊ है, मेरे को बहुत बुरा लगता है. मेरे को honestly बहुत ही ज़्यादा it feels very inorganic. What I love about some stuff is like, and not, and I think, yeah, why should an influencer marketing be only with influencers? Why can't it be with co-creators? For example, how an Apple does it or how a Visco does it. And that's what we're actually planning with social, with our new series called Social Dekho, this time, and we actually did a reel as well recently. So here we are like, we want to create with the community. मतलब हम लोग को कम्युनिटी को empower करने की, अच्छा ठीक है, this video guy might not be very big, but why can't we create with them? Like how Apple commissions a lot of stuff. Like there, you go to the Instagram feed, it's not only about Apple के phone, ये घड़ी खरीद लो, ये AirPods खरीद. It's about co-creating stuff with the community, which I love, which I really appreciate, because I might not have heard about this photographer who's there. I might not have heard about this guy who's there on their platform, but now I've discovered him because of his great work. And that really shows. And how have they done it? Yeah, with an Apple product. That's a great association. But what you mentioned about Amazon and all of these getting, I think it's almost lazy. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's kind of seen as lazy, that it's just ki acha theek hai, maine pakda diya, I've just given the mantle to this creator person, they create something and ho jayega. But with co-creating stuff, it really takes a lot of effort. And what an Apple and Visco have done, of course, different brands, I'm not saying that they have the same ideals and all of that, and to each their own, but I admire it. Like, I as a brand admire it, and I as a person who's working on a brand which is of course again about community and about belonging and all of that, which is what in that's the direction that we want to go for. I don't want to tell Tanmay Bhatt ki अरे मेरे biryani के बारे में बात करो. I want to make sure that there's a small creator somewhere in Bangalore or somewhere in Chennai, and we make a video about the origin of the Don biryani in South India. How's that created? So that is interesting for me, not like that stuff. So you've hit the nail on the head really, that it is inorganic, and I do feel it is Bikao. And you're not staying to the medium. The medium is not for HD stuff. It's about this little guy on your this little person on your iPhone and making stuff with that. So I think that's really important, and you should do that stuff. You should stick to that.
I like what you said about, co-creating, because I think a lot of brands, especially brands who think about sustainability, who think about actually engaging with the community instead of bigger numbers, they reach out to creators who are doing very cool stuff in their own right and collaborating with them, because they know that this creator doesn't may not have like a depth, may not have like a width, like zyada nahi rahega uske paas numbers, but the kind of community he has, it engages with that person every single time. And I think a lot of people also, a lot of creators are also kind of moving towards this sort of a sustainability um, thing. Like they know ki I'm not going to get the biggest numbers, but I'm happy doing what I do.
Yeah. High time, man. High time. I think it's a platform. It's a two-way street. So once the creators also like this, the brands also be like, fuck, ye street photography, mein, he's amazing. So let's collaborate with him. Or like she's great at food photography. Let's collaborate with her.
Yeah.
So that is very important. Yeah, like that. I think that co-creation part is something that I think is going to be one of the buzzwords, or like not this in particular, but people will kind of want to go steer towards this direction, because ये millions of followers and all ये नहीं होता है. मतलब आप कोई influencer some 18-year-old को बोल दो जिसके पास 18 million followers है, you might do a collaboration with them, but it might not do jack shit for your brand, rather than having a person who has only 5k followers, but they're so heavily engaged with the product and they so respect the creator for what he does, that will yield much better results. So that shift should come with brands, and I think brands have started taking notice. And especially I think it's a lot in the West, Punchman. Like I think it's a lot of these things are more mature in the West, and it's not just about influencers, but if you think about this moment marketing thing, which is the favorite thing that Indian brands do, right? Like there's a trend that's happening, and everybody wants to go on that trend to be on social samosa and all of that. That does not happen in the West. Like I can ask you to look at so we have Zomato here, right? There's DoorDash, or there's Deliveroo in the US, or we have the other McDonald's ka dekh raha hu, matlab you could look at McDonald's India, McDonald's USA. The markets there or the social media that's very different. They won't go on trends. They won't be like acha Indira Nagar ka gunda. They won't be go stuff on Rahul Dravid. Everybody wants to join this whole stream of conversations because अच्छा किसी ने create किया, अब सबको हम लोग उस पे करेंगे. We'll just pile up on that. वहाँ पर it's very different, yeah. वहाँ पर in the states and the brands that they do, you check out, like, and people who are listening or watching this, please check out brands in the US and how they do topical marketing. They really don't. I mean, they don't kind of go sacrifice their own brand tonality and their brand voice to something that's trending for 2 days and then it gets old and stale. So that I think is also again a similar. It's not again totally video stuff or podcast stuff, but it's important in the brand conversation and how things will progress. Like you'll see a lot of stuff in the future in the next 4-5 years, that people will want to stay away from this topical bullshit that keeps on happening, and people will want to be more truthful to themselves in terms of the brands that they own.
That's quite interesting, yeah. I never thought of it in a brand perspective. Like, you know, brands jumping on topical conversations. I never thought कि that could waver from their brand का voice or their tonality.
होता ही है बहुत sacrifice होता है. मतलब it's like a bloodbath. When I see it, I'm like, fuck, people don't realize it, but it's nothing to do with your brand, or it's a force fit. Why are you doing this? You think that you will get featured in some article somewhere and you will be happy, but that's not the point, right? Like that's not the point of your brand. Your brand has to speak about the product, and if not speak about the product, at least speak about the people who are using the product, or like have some conversation with them. When I speak about a topical thing, I am just associating, trying to force fit myself. Oh, funny thing. I am also part of funny things, sir. That's not who you are. Be authentic. Be authentic with your stuff. And I think brands should kind of shrug off this whole pretense of topicality that they have. It's something that I would definitely, if I had like the mantle, I would definitely go on to that. That of course, I'm saying some of this topical stuff is funny if it really
Hmm.
fits your this thing, but not everything has to be jumped upon. कि नहीं fuck एक और 2 दिन हो गए अब नया topical है उस पे भी jump नहीं है. Come on, chill.
That's quite interesting. मैं कभी ऐसे सोचा भी नहीं. And honestly, I see, like, if you are at any time in the future at the mantle of, or given the mantle of one of the big brands, I think it'll be great for that brand. Because I don't know if brand managers think about this kind of stuff, or are they old, or maybe it's our generation who thinks about, brand voice and how much it matters and being authentic. Like, what do you think? Like, is there like a brand like hierarchy may, do you think there's like a big disconnect between the audience that they're catering to and what they actually think?
So what I'll tell you, I think one of the biggest evils, Napanch, or one of the biggest things that kind of comes into the picture here is that most brands have agencies. All right. Now, what happens with agencies, or what happens with this topical stuff, is because people are loving it. Agencies are incentivized to do more of this stuff because at the end of the month, when they have to submit their monthly social media reports, they can say that, hey, look, engagements were up because we posted this topical stuff. Now, what happens is it's a two-way street. When the brand managers who are a part of the brand, they're like, fuck, ये तो बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, इसको करते हैं. The social media team was like, हाँ, ये तो बस topical मैंने चीज कर लिया था, अब यही करते रहेंगे. So you keep churning out that stuff. Like, the agency is incentivized to think in those directions because it is good for the brand, because the brands feel happy about themselves. But ultimately, does it lead to positive results or positive brand associations? Probably not. Some brands do it really well. I'm saying some brands like a Zomato has an knack because they have such a huge team. But if everybody wants to jump on this thing, it's not a very sustainable thing for everybody. It's not the best solution that you have. You'd rather stick to your guns and stick about some amazing stuff that you do as a brand, but not jumping on everything because people will like it more, people will engage with it. Social media managers are very happy, or the agencies are very happy because we're getting numbers. But then look at the other thing that you're compromising. You're compromising your uniqueness, which is bad.
So then it again becomes a race ki, okay, which of these brands jumped on this trend better?
Yeah. Like it's a race to the bottom.
Now, I think I've asked you everything I wanted to ask you. I think this has been going quite well. We started with how to podcast, and now we're talking about virality and the content and how it works. Insane. Just to end things, I would like to get, like, I don't know, with I'm still figuring out how to end the podcast, but especially for this episode, I want to get I want to get your uh, certain predictions that you have for the future, for, like, let's say the future 5 to 10 years of content. Tell me where you think, just like based on your experience as working with brands, as making your own show. Tell me where you think audio is headed, especially audio.
So, what I think, Punch, honestly, in the next 4 to 5 years, what we're going to see is this model, and I've kind of researched this as well. It's called social media 2.0. So, how do you consume social media? Right? Like your social media is aided by the supply of ads, right? Like Google Ads, Facebook. So, Google and Facebook, they are basically these duopolies who control your ad landscape with their products, with their various products, be it a fucking Google search, जिसमें ad तो होता ही है, to a Facebook and Instagram and all that. What I feel eventually will happen is that because of all these antitrust laws, because of monopoly or duopoly practices that these brands have, is that more people will see social media as they'll get back to the original purpose of social media, which was connection. Right now, it's not that. Right now, it's completely different from what the original picture was. So what I feel is that a lot of this thing, how you did you ever think that you would subscribe for a monthly based thing where you get TV and film? Netflix probably not. Music का भी नहीं, हम लोग वो करते थे, used to fucking वो songs.pk से हम लोग डाउनलोड करते थे यार सामान को. तो अब तुम Spotify के पैसे भी देते हो और Apple Music के पैसे भी देते हो. मेरे को जो लगता है, जो मेरा प्रेडिक्शन है कि 4-5 सालों में ये जो एड का जो मॉडल है, कितना privacy will become such a major issue and all of that. I feel that to combat this, what will happen is that you will actually subscribe for social media. You will have a minimal fee, like a 99 rupees per month, where you will have no ads, where you will have no, let's say, like, no other hindrances in the process. What you will have is a very minimal fee that will be attached to these platforms. where you can get, where you won't be, where there won't be too many people to begin with, because the entire ecosystem will change. There'll be a lot lesser stuff, but there'll be a lot more quality stuff basis what you're paying. So it will be a paid model. I think it'll be like how Substack is happening. Like, Substack is a big, it's going towards paid model scale. So if you like a newsletter, pay for it. Minimal fee, but you pay for it. And then of course, the volume, the economies of scale will work in, and then you can sustain your brands and all of that. In terms of audio, what I feel is, again, it's the same. What will happen is that a lot of people right now, they are going into the audio space because it's trendy, because it's cool. What will happen 4-5 years later is a lot of the early adopters who will be there, like, who will be there, ki, acha, meko kuch start karna hai 2020 mein karna tha, all of that. A lot of them will fade away in the only in the process, that our podcast didn't really take off, or not many listeners and all that. So that will reduce. Then you'll have these kind of creators who are very much into the space, who have been creating, who have a loyal fan base, who will again be okay with paying stuff for them, because by that time I think we will hit maturity. By that time we will be okay with paying stuff to listen to that. So I think this paid wala thing, it'll be something that we start respecting from the end, because I feel what Netflix has done with videos has been revolutionary. Like, not just in terms of the original programming, but just to get this mindset that I can pay for this, and I can consume it anytime, and I'm okay with it. Of course, it's not the cheapest thing on earth, but I respect the value. I respect the content that it has, and I respect the this thing to it. So there'll be a lot more respect in general with social media. Right now, it's a shit show. Right now, it's diarrhea. Right, like, you fucking don't know what you're gonna what you're gonna get. The algorithms are gonna get more friendly, because the algorithms will not be having this purpose of showing you the best ads. Right? Like, the algorithms work in the way they do is because they want to serve you ads which matter to them, because they want you to click on those ads so that they can tell those brands कि अच्छा देखो, मैंने ये पंची गायकवाड़ ने आपका ये ईयरबड्स के एड पे वो किया था, क्लिक किया था. But अगर आप पे करोगे, if Panchi Gaikwad is paying for the service, then they're not incentivized to have that algorithm in such a way. So what happens then is that your algorithm changes, and the way you consume stuff changes, the content changes. So I'm saying that in the next 4-5 years, audio, of course, a big part of it, will have, social media will have a huge change in the landscape, and it will be, it'll steer away from the advertising model, which is controlled by literally these two big folks, right? It's your fucking Apple, it's your Facebook Inc. and Alphabet, which is Google. So I think it'll break away from the shackles of that, and go to a much better, more holistic ecosystem.
That's cool. Super interesting. I think on a smaller scale, this has, I think, happened. Again, whatever you're saying, it falls into the whole, like, especially for creators, you don't have to have a million followers or something. You need to have 1,000 true fans or 100 true fans, something like that. People who are willing to pay for the product and who actually see the value in what you make.
Absolutely.
Okay, Shrivar, thank you so much. Last question before we end the episode is, do you have any suggestions as to how I could end episodes? Like, anything off the top of the head?
Whoa, that has been the most meta thing. Oh gosh, fuck, that really caught me by surprise, I have to say. Probably like telling them that, you can, of course, it always helps showing you, leading them to their social media and all of that. But also, I love this about Freakonomics. Okay, I think the best way to end this episode is that is how they episode, and each and every episode, how Stephen Dubner does it. He says very simple words. He says, "Take care of yourself, and if possible, someone else too." And that's how he ends
Oh,
every episode.
that is so cute. Okay, I'll think of something like that. That has been a very, very insightful conversation. Thank you so much, Shrivar, for being on the show. Look at me calling it a show, like as a pretentious maximum. If you're still listening towards the end, thank you so much for tagging along while I learn how to make podcasts and while I learn about the world of content creation and the future of the industry. Speaking of the future of the industry, Shrivar's predictions of social media 2.0 may just be closer than we think. Just yesterday, Apple released a new software update for all their phones, which enables users to opt out of tracking in apps that monitor their behavior and share that tracking data with third parties. This new update gives people more control over their app data and how it's used by companies like Facebook and Google to target ads to them. Essentially, Apple is strong arming Facebook and Google to be better and not share any tracking data because it's so obviously intrusive. So, maybe, just maybe, friendlier algorithms are already on the way. So that was it for episode 1 of the Punch Pod. I hope you learned something new. I sure did. Take care and stay safe. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.